There are things a man should never say, not because he's hiding something, but because some truths destroy the mystery. Once she sees behind the curtain, she can't unsee it. And in attraction, mystery is power. You might think honesty is always the best policy, but in relationships, it's often the fastest way to kill desire. Women are drawn to men they can't fully read, men who hold back just enough to keep her guessing. Today, we're revealing the 7 secrets every man must never tell a woman, because once you do, she'll never see you the same again.
1. Your true insecurities. Every man has insecurities, moments where doubt creeps in, where failure whispers that he's not enough. But here's the truth. Most men never understand. The moment you hand those insecurities to a woman, you change the way she sees you forever. Not because she's cruel, not because she wants to hurt you, but because her nature is wired to test stability. Women are emotional detectives. They watch, sense, and interpret energy. When you reveal your soft underbelly, she stops seeing the unshakable man and starts seeing uncertainty. That doesn't make her a villain, it makes her human. But it does mean you lose something priceless: mystery. When a woman feels your energy shift into insecurity, she can't help but question if you're the anchor she thought you were. You might think vulnerability builds closeness, but too much too soon builds comfort, not attraction. There's a difference between being emotionally available and emotionally exposed. The first shows maturity. The second shows weakness. You can share your thoughts, your ambitions, even your struggles, but never your self-doubt in its rawest form. Because once she senses fear at your core, she instinctively takes the lead, and when she leads, the polarity dies. This doesn't mean you hide who you are, it means you master who you are before you share it. The masculine path is not to pretend you have no flaws, but to face them alone, overcome them quietly, and emerge stronger. Handle your inner storms without broadcasting the thunder. When she sees calm where others would see chaos, she feels protected. When you stand tall in silence instead of collapsing in confession, she respects you. And respect is the soil where attraction grows. So, don't hand out your insecurities like souvenirs of suffering. Keep them locked behind your actions. Let your growth tell the story instead of your pain. Because the man who keeps his emotional world disciplined radiates power. He doesn't need to say, "I'm okay." She feels it. And that feeling, the quiet certainty that you cannot be shaken, is what separates boys seeking comfort from men commanding respect. In the end, your strength isn't in denying weakness. It's in conquering it without needing applause. Secret 2, your full financial reality. Money may not buy love, but it silently dictates respect. The truth is, a woman's attraction is deeply tied to how safe she feels around you. Not just physically, but emotionally and financially. When you reveal your full financial reality too soon, you give her a blueprint to judge your value, consciously or not. If she knows every detail, how much you make, how much you owe, how insecure you feel about money, you strip away the aura of control, and control to a woman feels like security. The moment you overshare, you turn mystery into measurement. She'll start running silent calculations, comparing what you earn, what you spend, what you plan. Not because she's materialistic, but because she's wired to evaluate stability. A man who brags about money shows insecurity. A man who complains about not having enough shows weakness. Both lose power. The masculine approach is simple. Let your lifestyle do the talking. Let your discipline show through your actions, not your words. She doesn't need to know your bank balance. She needs to feel your consistency. The one who moves with calm certainty, regardless of external chaos, projects abundance. A man could have little in his account yet appear rich in composure, and that energy is what captivates women far beyond wealth itself. Never explain your financial struggles in detail. Don't confess debts, loans, or failures unless they directly affect her life. Handle your burdens privately with quiet determination. When you speak too much about what you don't have, you subconsciously invite pity. But pity is poison to attraction. She might comfort you for a moment, but she'll never desire you the same way again. Men are respected for their ability to create solutions, not for narrating their struggles. On the flip side, even if you're successful, keep that mystery alive. Don't turn money into your identity. The man who constantly reminds her of what he can buy loses the subtle tension that mystery provides. True power isn't announced, it's sensed. She should see a man who's disciplined, strategic, and unshakably confident, not one who feels the need to prove his worth through numbers. The moment she realizes your security comes from within, not your wallet, she'll see you as more than a provider. She'll see you as a force. Secret 3, your past failures with women. Every man has scars from the past, rejections, betrayals, or relationships that broke him into pieces. But if you start unfolding those stories to a woman you're trying to build attraction with, you hand her the script to your emotional weaknesses. The moment she knows exactly how another woman hurt you, she subconsciously sees what kind of man you were, and in her mind, that image starts competing with the man you are now. She begins to categorize, compare, and evaluate. If he tolerated that, how far can I push? If he got played before, is he still that naive? You don't want her thinking those things. The masculine energy loses its mystery when it's wrapped in old pain. Attraction thrives on perception, and perception dies when you sound like a victim of your past. Telling her too much about your exes doesn't make you honest. It makes you emotionally exposed. The masculine doesn't dwell, it learns. You can mention that you've had past relationships, sure, but never turn them into therapy sessions. Women don't fall in love with your pain. They fall in love with your strength after the pain. Every heartbreak taught you something, but let your behavior show that lesson, not your mouth. Speak through composure, not confession. The truth is, when you carry your past into new connections, you poison the energy before it begins. You might think sharing will make her understand you better, but what it really does is make her see the cracks in your armor. Mystery dies when she can predict your triggers. Keep your history brief, your emotions private, and your focus forward. She doesn't need to know who cheated, who left, or who lied. She just needs to feel that none of it owns you anymore. A man who's still emotionally tied to his past is not leading. He's limping. But a man who's faced his history and walked through it without bitterness radiates strength. That calm indifference is magnetic. It tells her, I've been through the fire, but the fire didn't change me. It forged me. When you carry that energy, she doesn't wonder who hurt you. She wonders how you became so unshakable. And that curiosity, that's where attraction lives. Secret 4, your future plans in detail. One of the most seductive traits a man can possess is direction. A man with vision, purpose, and drive radiates a magnetic kind of confidence that women instinctively admire. But here's the mistake most men make. They confuse ambition with exposure. They think that by explaining every goal, every step, every plan, they'll impress her. In reality, they ruin the mystery. The moment you tell a woman exactly where you're going, how you'll get there, and what you'll do next, you remove suspense. You turn from the unpredictable force that inspires curiosity into a predictable routine she's already seen before. Women aren't drawn to men they fully understand. They're drawn to men who make them wonder. When you overshare your future, you give her the map instead of letting her experience the journey. And when people see the map, they start judging the route. Why that direction? That'll never work. You should do this instead. Now her imagination is gone and her analysis begins. Instead of feeling admiration, she starts evaluating. Never forget, women are emotional beings. They fall in love with how your ambition feels, not how it's structured. When she senses quiet certainty in you, that's power. When you broadcast your blueprint, it becomes negotiation. There's something mysterious about a man who works in silence. He doesn't announce, he executes. He doesn't brag, he builds. She sees progress but never hears the full plan, and that tension keeps her intrigued. That's not secrecy, that's mastery. The world today is filled with men who talk too much and act too little. Be the opposite. Let her notice that every time she looks away, you've evolved. You've leveled up, you've moved forward. The less you say, the more she feels your momentum. When you finally achieve something, then you can share it, but not as validation, as evidence. Show her the mountain climbed, not the map drawn, because talk invites doubt. Results silence it. The man who reveals too much too soon invites interference. The man who protects his plans commands respect. Your mission is sacred ground. Let no one trample it with opinion. Keep her guessing. Let her feel your fire without ever seeing where it burns next. Because mystery isn't about hiding, it's about holding power in reserve. In Secret 5, how much you like her. Nothing destroys attraction faster than a man who shows all his cards too early. The moment a woman knows she completely owns your attention, the chase dies. Attraction, by its nature, thrives on tension, on the balance between what she knows and what she feels but can't quite read. When you confess your feelings too soon, too eagerly, you shift that balance. You turn from the prize into the pursuer. And once she knows she has you, the curiosity that fueled her desire evaporates. It's not cruelty, it's psychology. People don't value what's guaranteed, they crave what's uncertain. You don't have to pretend you don't care. You simply need to control the pace at which your emotions are revealed. The most magnetic men are those who make a woman feel something without having to say it. A subtle glance, calm confidence, and an unbothered tone do more than any confession ever could. When you hold back just enough, you allow her imagination to fill in the blanks, and imagination always paints you larger than life. But the moment you start pouring out affection, reassurance, and constant attention, you become predictable. Predictability kills desire. Women are emotional creatures who thrive on the thrill of uncertainty. When she doesn't quite know how much you like her, her mind races. She replays conversations, decodes body language, and feels a growing pull toward you. That mystery triggers attraction. When she knows too much, she relaxes. And comfort is the death of passion. Keep your compliments scarce but meaningful. Let your actions show subtle interest but never obsession. A man who can remain composed around beauty, who doesn't chase validation, becomes the validation. It's not about playing games, it's about maintaining polarity. Masculine energy is steady, grounded, and rare. You don't prove your worth by confessing, you prove it by presence. Let her earn your vulnerability over time. Make her feel that your affection is a privilege, not a given. Because once she knows she has your heart without earning it, she stops chasing it. But when she senses your depth, without being handed the full map, she can't help but chase the mystery behind your calm. That's the difference between being liked and being unforgettable. Secret 6, your weak moments of loneliness. Every man feels it, that quiet emptiness at night when the world goes silent, when the messages stop, when the phone screen glows but no one's name appears. Loneliness is a shadow that every strong man has wrestled with. But here's the truth most never realize. The moment you reveal that loneliness to a woman, you shift from power to dependence. When she senses that you need her presence to fill that void, she stops seeing you as a man in control of his world and starts seeing you as a man searching for something to complete him. And once you become a man who needs completing, you lose the magnetic force that drew her to you in the first place. Women are not attracted to need. They're drawn to abundance, emotional, mental, and spiritual abundance. A man who can enjoy solitude radiates security. He isn't chasing comfort. He is comfort. When he walks into a room, he brings peace, not longing. But the man who constantly seeks validation, affection, or company transmits emptiness, and emptiness repels. Never tell a woman how lonely you are, how lost you feel without her, or how much you miss having someone to talk to. It might feel honest, but to her psychology, it sounds like weakness. She may sympathize, but she won't respect it. Use your loneliness as fuel, not confession. When the silence hits, build, train, read, create. The difference between weak men and strong men is what they do when no one's watching. Weak men scroll, beg, and crave attention. Strong men evolve. Solitude is not punishment, it's preparation. When you can stand alone and remain unshaken, you project an aura that no amount of words can create. That stillness, that quiet power, makes her wonder, how does he stay so calm when everyone else craves attention? That's what captivates her. So next time you feel the pull to express your loneliness, remember, your solitude is sacred. Protect it. Let it forge you. A man who conquers isolation becomes unstoppable because no rejection, no absence, no silence can break him. And when a woman meets that kind of man, the one who doesn't chase love to escape himself, but builds himself until love chases him, she doesn't just desire him, she admires him. That's real masculine strength. 7, your true emotional limits. Every man has a breaking point, a line that, if crossed, brings out the storm inside him. But the mistake most men make is revealing that line too soon. They tell women exactly what hurts them, what angers them, what triggers them, and what they'll never tolerate. They believe it sets boundaries, but in truth, it hands over a map of their emotional weaknesses. The moment a woman knows what can shake you, she'll subconsciously test it, not out of malice, but instinct. Women test emotional strength the way the ocean tests the shoreline. It's natural, constant, and unspoken. And when she realizes your limits are predictable, your mystery dissolves. A masculine man never announces what will break him. He simply enforces his boundaries silently. There's no need for dramatic warnings, no emotional declarations of what he won't accept. His actions do the speaking. He doesn't beg for respect. He commands it through calm consistency. When something crosses the line, he doesn't raise his voice. He raises his standards. He withdraws, redirects, or removes himself completely without explanation. That silence hits harder than any argument ever could. When you tell a woman your emotional limits, I hate being ignored. I can't stand jealousy. I won't forgive betrayal. You teach her your emotional buttons. And once she knows where they are, even the best of them will be tempted to press one, just to see what happens. But when she can't read you, when she can't predict your emotional reactions, she becomes fascinated. You turn into a mystery she can't solve, and that's where attraction grows. Mystery isn't manipulation, it's controlled depth. True masculine power lies in composure. It's in walking away without explanation, in staying calm when provoked, in smiling when tested. Your limits are not a speech, they're an energy. When a woman senses that your peace can't be shaken, even by her, she respects you on a primal level. You become the rare man who doesn't react. He decides. And the less she knows about what would break you, the less she'll ever risk doing it. Because unpredictability commands caution and calm commands desire. In the end, your silence is your shield and your restraint is your power. Speak less, feel more, and let your actions define your limits. That's what keeps a man untouchable. Power doesn't come from how much you share. It comes from how much you control. The strongest men are not loud, they're composed. They don't hand their insecurities, dreams, and emotions to anyone who asks. They reveal in fragments, not floods. Because once you tell a woman everything, what scares you, what excites you, what breaks you, you strip away the mystery that made you magnetic in the first place. Silence is not avoidance, it's strategy. Mystery is not manipulation, it's power. Women crave the man they can't completely read, the one who feels deeply but reveals selectively, who leads calmly, who moves with quiet certainty. The moment she realizes you don't need her to feel whole, you become the kind of man she can't forget. You're not hiding, you're mastering. Every word you choose not to say becomes a message louder than speech. So protect your mind, your plans, your peace. Let your actions speak while your emotions stay grounded. Because when you move in silence, when you guard your truth with discipline, you don't just earn respect, you command it. A man who controls his voice controls his world. That's the secret few ever learn, and the power no one can take from you.